This is the first in my series of confession videos. I'm a little reluctant to do this because this could be really embarrassing, but I want to show you guys what life really is like for somebody my size. This is our family F-150. That a big truck like this, even somebody like me would be able to fit into it and drive it, and it wouldn't be a challenge because this is a big vehicle. Big, heavy American Ford Tough or whatever. The truth is, this truck was made in 1988. It's old. I mean, it's, you know, my gosh, it's a quarter century old. And things have changed a lot in that time, and I want to show you a few of the things that have changed. So here, let's come inside the truck first. Now, this steering wheel, it does not tilt and it does not telescope. Those of you old enough to remember this will know steering wheels used to be just as they were, especially in trucks. Well, this one, as you can see, this is a problem. Reason number one why I really shouldn't drive this truck: if I have to turn really quickly, it ain't gonna happen. Rule number two, the visibility out the back is okay. There is a cap on this truck, but I can use the rear view mirror, no problem, as long as something isn't in the back blocking it. But these old-fashioned side view mirrors, these mirrors do not tilt. They are fixed, and the truth is, while you can slide them in and out, they have a position that they like to maintain, and they really don't like to move from that. And when you're somebody like me, whose head is farther forwards in the truck because, let's be honest, just got fat back here, you know, when I'm driving down the road and I'm trying to see if something's next to me, I have to kind of contort myself. So that's rule number two, reason number two. The real problem with this truck is the fact that this seat belt, even when you take it all the way out, there's no way it'll buckle. I can't even find the, here it is. Oh my goodness. I take that back. Well, this is a surprise. This is a real surprise. When I started this diet, there was no way in heck that I could buckle this seatbelt. Well, there goes the reason for my video. But oh well, I'm going to keep going. So, now I think a very reasonable question to ask is, why would somebody my size drive a compact car? And there's actually some very good reasons for that. Number one, I really like the car. I like how it looks. I love how it drives. It's an economy car, not a sports car, but it's got a great, great handling combined with a good ride. It's not too stiff. It's very civilized. It's got a manual transmission, something you can't find as often these days. And it's a lot of fun to drive. It's fairly fuel efficient. The newer Mazdas that have the Skyactiv engines are a little bit better. But I do fit into the car, and the only drawback really is the back seat. Let's show you this car. Now, there are a few things about this car, some adjustments necessary for someone like me. I do have the seat all the way back. I can drive with the seat farther forwards, but this is most comfortable to me, and I could push in the clutch, no problem. And the seat belts are all the way, the anchors are all the way up. And the steering wheel is all the way up and all the way in. That works for me. But here, compared to the truck, here I can see out the rear view mirror. I've got great side mirrors. The seat belt fits comfortably instead of barely. The sight lines are good. My head is a little close. This car has a sunroof, and my head is a little close to the headliner here. Once I lose weight, I'll be sitting a little farther back in the car and maybe a little lower in the car. I do have the seat all the way down as far as it'll go. So this is a bit close, but you know, I fit well in the car. I'm pretty comfortable. I did not realize, I actually rented one of these Mazdas back when they were brand new, back in the fall of 2009. And the one I rented did not have the sport seats. So actually I am sitting on a cushion because, let's be honest, this really isn't wide enough for me. But it's pretty comfortable, and I do get a little tired. My feet, the front of the seat doesn't really have very good support. And so on really long drives, my feet kind of get tired. And the honest truth is, I think they get tired because my legs are just heavy. My legs are heavy. I'm sitting in sort of an unusual position. So, for example, if I was going to take this car up to Connecticut to visit my dad, it probably would not be the best choice for a long drive. That's about, from here, it's about 1,150 miles. And it just wouldn't be really comfortable. But, you know, around town, shorter drives like going to Starkville, it's great. As you can see, I actually fit in this car okay. It's probably a little better than my Mazda. Close the door just fine. I definitely fill the space. The only thing that really bothers me about driving this is the fact that this seat belt right here, you know, driving around town, driving on short trips, it's not a problem. But when I go and I'm in the car, for example, drive down to Starkville and I'm in the car for 3 hours, this starts to cut into my thigh just a little bit. So it's a little uncomfortable. But other than that, you know, Volkswagen did a good job of designing a car for fat people. I've got the steering wheel all the way up and in. In fact, I don't remember how to adjust it. You know, if I bring it out, certainly if I bring it down, the problem is being able to get in and out with it not hitting my legs. So I always put all the way up and all the way in. And the seat actually slides back farther, but because this is a manual, I have to be able to push the clutch pedal in comfortably. And yes, there are Americans that drive diesels, and there are Americans that drive stick shifts. There may not be many of us, but there are some of us. One thing that's unfortunately never graceful is a fat person getting in or out of a car. Using the back seat of the Volkswagen, I'd like to demonstrate another problem. First, I have to commend Volkswagen because the Jetta is not a large car. You know, it's only a little bit bigger than my Mazda, and yet the back seat is much roomier with much better legroom. Quite frankly, I can't fit in the back seat of the Mazda. Hardly at all. It's just terrible. That's not a strength of that car. But in this car, I do fit, particularly if I don't have to sit here for too long. But I wanted to come back here and illustrate another problem that I have often with this car and with others. You see, in a lot of cars, the front seat belts, particularly the driver's belt, are longer than the belts in the back seat, or if you have a minivan or third row SUV, back in the third row. So when I drive or ride in a car that I'm not familiar with, like the car of one of my friends, I always very carefully pull the seat belt all the way out, and then I attempt to buckle it. And as you can see here, I can buckle the front seat, the seat belt in the front seat easily, but in this seat, I'm just about, I don't know, what's that, 3 inches too short? There's no way. And the truth is, somebody my size, anybody really, but especially somebody my size, you know, if someone's driving this car and we have an accident and this car runs into another car, guess what? If I'm not belted in, this seat right here is not going to restrain me. I'm going to injure the person in front of me. So it's not just a matter of my safety, it's also a matter of the safety of the other people in the car and about being responsible. So in this car, what I can do, carefully, because I've had to do this before, I don't wear the shoulder belt. I stick it behind me. And there you go. At the very least, I have my lap belt on, and it works. It's not the perfect solution, you know, but at least it is a solution.